Now let's discuss the available power concept for DP system. So with the white graphical vertical bar, the power generated on board is presented. For DP purposes, allowed to use 80% of power generated on board, and that one is called as available power limit. This is done to avoid the overloading of generators and thrusters and to prevent the blackout due to overloading. But when we are on DP, we have to use the 50% marked with the green vertical graph, and those 50% of available power allowed to use for DP operations in progress. It means the rest 50 from available power is the redundant spare energy, which in case of loss 50 will let us to abandon and stop operations safely. Remember, gents, please, that for some specific vessels, the available power concept may be adjusted indifferent from that what we discuss here. For example, very often for diving support vessels, the available power presented as a 75% from power generated on board. But the main idea of all of that we have to use 50% from 80. Actually, we use 40% of power generated on board, and we should never go up the established limit, because that will be against of procedures. For the purposes of safety, DP operations should not be carried out when power demand exceeds 80% of power available, or when output from any individual thrust exceeds 80% of its maximum thrust. For operations under equipment classes 2 and 3, the level of redundancy required is such that the power available for position keeping should be sufficient to maintain position subsequent to worst-case switchboard failure. The loss of one complete section of switchboard and the generator supplying it. So if we are degraded in a half, we should be able to complete the operation, or at least to cancel the operation safely. That's the main idea. Also, the load-dependent start-stop function automatically starts the next genset in the predetermined standby sequence and connects it to the grid as the grid load exceeds the preset parameter. And this preset parameter for the Kongsberg is a little bit different from that what we discussed just 1 minute ago. The criteria for such loads in Kongsberg could be as follows. Start next standby genset if a load is above 85% on thrusters for more than 30 minutes. Start next standby genset if load is above 93% for more than 10 minutes. Or start next standby genset immediately if load reach 105% or if we are overloaded per 5%. But this is something about Kongsberg.